Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is the game War in the Pacific, and this is now the game or match against the historical gamer THG. He started this game originally I think 2 or 3 years ago with a match against THG, and later I don't know, after turn 100, 110, maybe changed to Rainbow Dash. And now we have turn 127, I think. Let me check. Yeah, we have turn 127. And the historical gamer, THG, still won't normally play this match. But so he asked more or less for someone can take over, because THG first and the Rainbow Dash now second drop out of the match. Let's say this for different reasons. And I had I got the file today, so this is more or less my first look on the situation. And I checked a little around, and I would say, of course, this is a game from someone else played before. So it is not my game style, there's some difference. And we can simply check what is the situation, what is okay, where we have problems, and what works maybe well and what works not so well. If you want, you can go to THG and THG. I think they all record the turns. Rainbow Dash, I'm not so sure, but I think maybe also, I don't know. And if you want to see the history of this match, you can dive deep in the history. Like I said, I think they started this game 2 years ago or somewhere. They have, I think, first they're making the 1 day turn, not what I do with Dojo, 2 day turns. And with Dojo normally have 2 or 3 turns per week, if Dojo is not too busy like now. And I think here it was more or less 1 turn per week, maybe maximum 2 turns per week, but this means still only 2 days in-game time per 1 week real time. Of course, this is other speed of progress. So, long talking, and what is the situation? So first we start at 12th of April 1942. So this is the last month of this bonus for Amphibious Assault for the Japanese. So far I know it is 1st of May. This bonus will stop working. So after that, if you make an Amphibious Assault on the hex, you will unload much slower. And this is a risky operation. So if you try to unload in a hex with a strong force, and you cannot unload most of your troops at this first turn, and the enemy will make a counter strike, then he normally drive you back in the ocean, and then all your forces are more or less dead, I would say. So Amphibious Assault is a risky operation if you cannot make sure that you you must unload enough attack value in 1 turn. It's equal to the defense of the defender. In this situation, normally the defender cannot drive you back in the ocean. But if you have maybe 1000 defense power, the defender have 1000 attack value, and you unload here troops of only 100 attack value in the first turn, and the defender can normally drive you back, and then you lose a lot of units. Okay, this is only a first, so we running a little out of time for big Amphibious Assault operations, I would say. But we still have 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks left. Okay. Then we can maybe check first this intelligence information. So we can maybe check here first the left side. So we can see that the Japanese still fly more air missions than the Allies, but but also with roughly 50% more air missions. Okay. Then we can see air-to-air losses. The Allies lost more than the Japanese, but maybe like 10% more. Destroyed on field, we also see a lot of Allied airplanes are destroyed on the field. That is good. We have some destroyed Japanese. Well, can happen. Then we see a big difference is already here. This destroyed by flak is crazy high. So there was something in the past wrong, I would say, or I don't know if you can call it unlucky, because I don't would say. I mean, if you check my turns with Dojo, the airplanes I lose by flak is one airplane per turn, maximum two per turn. Yes, at the beginning, an attack on Pearl Harbor, you will lose some airplanes, but it's also not more than 10, 20, max if you are unlucky, maybe 30. So I don't know, but this is already a critical situation, I would say. The operational losses, I would say, is okay. It's a little high for me, but you can also see the THG also lost operationals, and if you fly more, then I would say, yeah, okay. The operational losses often are related to the number of missions you will fly. So I would say this is okay. Destroyed on the field is okay. Air to air is acceptable, okay. The really only problem is normally this by flak. This normally must be 40 to 100. I would say is maybe okay. 300 is a little high. Okay. This for this air situation. Then the bases. So the Allied controls 392 bases, the Japanese control some more bases, so we have a little more value of controlled bases than the Allies. But keep in mind, this is now nearly the end of the Japanese strike period. Latest in May and on June, the balance of power will shift to the Allies. So after that, it's normally not more really possible for the Japanese to really conquer a lot. So this is the reason why you must normally try to push to get here a lot of points in this period of time up to 1st of June, because after 1st of June or 1st of July, normally we'd switch the situation and not the Japanese push more, then the Allies will push. So, okay. So it is okay. Not terrible, I would say it's okay. But maybe you can get more, but I would say it's first okay. So then we have the Ally aircraft loss points 1,400 to 1,600. That is of course not so good, because I mean it's not so good. Even if you deduct now the 200 airplanes from this normally 300, then you would come here to 1,400 to 1,400, and then you would say it's okay. This is the same. I think the flag is really the problem here. Okay, then killed army 6,000 to 1,000 is okay. I would say this is standard. Of course, I mean, this is only the. I only have one game, one play by email game so far with Dojo, and if you see the numbers there, you know the difference. That Dojo somehow mess up with his fight in China. But normally I would say Dojo have 10 years experience, and so far I know he never lost a match, so I don't know what happens wrong. So ask Dojo for this. Anyway, so this is okay. Now then next is the ship sunks. Of course, I mean, first, keep in mind this I more or less is for true numbers, and this is fog of war numbers. So I think what is true is of course the bases. These are true base numbers, and I think also the ally points for this. This is because it's air force, so these are true numbers. But army loss points in ships are very fog of war. So we always know our Japanese points because this is the Japanese player side, so we know the Japanese points are true, the ally points are with fog of war. And but I don't know if how much fog of war is in the army stuff. I know there's a lot of fog of war in this ally shipping. So these numbers, the ally ship numbers, losses of ally points are very high fog of war stuff. We know our Japanese stuff. What is Japanese is for sure loss. So, and if we see this now, we 200 Allied ships against 100 Japanese ships, 1,000 points or 1,050 to 100, so equal. This is, of course, not good, to say it simple. I mean, these are only numbers and points, but normally this is a good time. To think 200 ships get 1,000 points, this is maybe okay. Normally the bigger problem is for me this loss of 100 ships with 1,000 points. This sounds a little high for me. Similar to the flag losses, is this also a high number of losses? This is the situation. I cannot change this, and I only must, I give only a report what I think is a little high in my opinion. Okay, so now we can check what we lost in total, or what we believe. This is I think so far also with a little fog of war. I mean, the daily informations are true, and the total numbers always, I think there's a little fog of war inside, because I think the true numbers are from the battles, but you also can lose airplanes in your turn. If you transfer airplanes, you can have operational losses. Airplanes plan crash. So in your setup turn, you can lose airplanes, and I'm not sure if this, I think this is fog of war. This you will not find out. I think you only get the results, the losses, if it's a battle. If it's something related to a battle, you will get later here at the end of your turn the true numbers. But for losses in your setup, I think you will not know what the ally lost so much. So these numbers are not 100% correct so far, I know, but I mean the Japanese are always 100%, but the allies. Anyway, what we can see here is that this is the first thing. What I think is a little strange is a 0 lost by flag is of course strange. I don't know. This is for me, but I would say that can happen because if you use the original setup of the Japanese and attack Pearl Harbor, so far I know, I think the PC or the AI or whoever, the original setup say you use some zeros to make an airfield attack. And this is stupid. Because in this case, your zeros will make ground attack, and in Pearl Harbor, even at day 1 with surprise attack is a lot of flag power, and you will lose zeros. I don't know if this is now, maybe out of, this can happen that a big number out of this 0 flag losses are from Pearl Harbor. Maybe. And that will be pity, because not only lost your zeros, you all lost elite pilots because they're carrier pilots. Okay, this is the first thing I would say is strange, because air-to-air losses with 100 to 100 ops is similar to what I have, and lose 3 on the ground can always happen. Next we see a lot of buffaloes, this is I think similar to me. Then we have here Key 21, 100 lost air-to-air. That is also far too high. Means you used your bombers in the attack and you not guarantee that you control the skies. And like I said before, all Japanese light and medium bombers before Helen 2A are purely air superiority bombers. You cannot use them if there is a threat of enemy fighters. And it doesn't matter what kind of fighters normally. Any bomber before Helen 2A cannot defend themselves against any fighter. So if you want to use this Ki-21 on any other bomber, you must make sure there's no enemy fighter, or you will suffer heavily. And this air-to-air losses to 100 is, of course, a blow. Flak, I would say, is impossible because they are light. You will get damaged by flak for sure. And op losses are also. This is okay. 1-to-1 flak to op losses, I would say no. I only have normally a little problem with this, but okay. Betty the same. 100 losses air to air. I mean, also in my game, I lost I think 30 or 40. And I know this happens so easily. But it's really terrible for the Japanese Navy bomber force. Oh, but okay. Good. What we have here. The Flying Tigers are also similar. They're destroyed to Dojo my game. The losses of Oscars are 1-to-1. This is okay. And no flak losses, so I would say this is okay. Nell and Betty, this is the same. I mean, Nell's lost similar to my game, I would say. This is okay. It's okay. Ops losses 50. A little high for me, but okay. The Ki-27, I don't know. The Ki-27 normally I don't have any losses much more. I don't know how we can have 40 losses because this is a... But okay, this is a really training airplane. This is not for fighting. So normally don't try to use the Ki-27 for any fighting operations. It's really not working. Forget it. Okay, what else we have here? We kill some P-40s. Okay, but I think in my game I killed many more, but... anyway, this is also... If the ally don't want fight, of course you cannot kill them, so... What else we have here? Also 35 Ki-48, little air-to-air, this is okay. It's okay. This is okay. I mean, you always can lose some planes. This is for sure, I mean, this is okay. You can check the numbers. If you see something, you can tell me, but I would say this is first okay. Nothing too crazy. I mean, the problem is these are then all very special airplanes and I only don't know Topsy. These are transport airplanes. I don't really use much transport airplanes so far because I see no real value in this. For me, it says that you must organize your supplies with ships, not with airplanes. Airplanes are always very special and expensive. Okay. I mean, I don't care them to lose them because they are not really important for me. Torpedo bombers. A little strange. Where's the other torpedo bomb? Where's the torpedo bomber? The main Japanese torpedo bomber. I miss it. Navy bomber? Land-based bomber? Land-based bomber, land-based bomber. Hurricane. This is because this is the Kate, the first edition of Kate. Normally, this is not more in production. I normally expected that the edition number 2 have much more losses. Here's number 2. Very strange. That is a very strange number. The losses of torpedo bomber are only 13? And only 3 flag? And only 0 losses by air? If normally if I see numbers like this, I would say this can only happen if you don't use your torpedo bombers. Because torpedo bombers will normally suffer simply heavily on flak, because some torpedo bombers, this kind of torpedo bombers, have no armor, they are slow, they have low hit points. So if you make a torpedo attack with your torpedo bombers, you will simply always lose torpedo bombers. This is part of this navy warfare. But for you sacrifice your torpedo bombers, and in this same time you normally create torpedo hits and then sink enemy ships. And yeah, okay. Anyway, this is the situation. I think the rest is not more so important. So we can see here this has the 300 difference in pilot or kills airplanes are a little unlucky, but okay, we cannot change this. Okay, this is the air war stuff. In the last for air war is list of top pilots, and we can see we lost 700 pilots already. Oof, 700. I must check my other game. And 126 wounded and nearly 200 missing. Okay, it's like it is. And we have a bunch of aces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not so many, but at least some. Okay. Okay. Now we can check the pilot. But before I do this, I want first make a short check of pilot replacement. The Navy is completely out of pilots already. There are nothing more back in the pool, and only 400 Army pilots left. Oh. Because keep in mind, you only create 150 Navy and roughly 200 Army pilots per month. So you can say you have 200, 350 pilots per month. And we are now in beginning, let's say we are now in April. So we get, I think, the first pilots in, it's always the beginning of the month so far, I know. So January, February, March, April. 4 times 350. So 1,200, 300, 1,400 pilots we get so far, but we lost 700, 800, 900, 1,000 pilots. And you must keep in mind that the Japanese, they push out a lot of air squadrons without pilots. So you not only must cover your losses, you also must fill up squadrons with new pilots. And that is now the situation you have here. You lost 1,000 pilots. You get 1,400, so you get 400 pilots. But you have so many squadrons need additional pilots that you completely empty your pool. So there's no backup more. And this is especially for this Navy guys. So you can see we only get this 150 Navy guys. So Army is maybe still okay. But okay. Anyway, this is situation. So now we can check why are so many pilots? This is far too many. Oh. Normally you only need 10 each. I don't know why he has so many pilots. That makes normally no sense. Okay, then I can take pilots here out. I don't know. I really don't know any other rules that you get any benefit if you have over 10 in this training school. So far I really know you must have 10 at least. And this is a rule. If you have at least 10 elite pilots in this school for each army, so for each nation, in this case it's a nation army and nation navy, then you get the bonus that your pilots can faster finish the school. But maybe I also saw this in the tracker software. It's not really much. It's not really faster. It is more like your students. They more or less they can finish their training faster, so they will not. You don't must pay 12 months the fee, because normally you must pay for every pilot at the beginning of the month 5 heavy industry points, some school fee. And if you have this trainings commando up to 10 elite pilots, the pilots can simply skip a month. They are still part in this school, but they more or less they don't go to school, so you don't must pay this heavy industry points. But they still, I think, need 12 months to finish the school. I think if I really understand it like this way. Before I thought they can really finish earlier, but I never saw that I get more pilots. I always get around this 150. Okay. But anyway, I will check this again online. Maybe I also have a problem. Maybe you must have more, or I just have other bonus, but so far I don't think so. I only a little curious. I thought it was 150 to 190. Why it's now 153 to 192? I'm not so sure. But I'm also a little strange because the experience is only 25 and 34. Yeah. Anyway, I will check this again. Okay, then this is now all about the pilots. So I see the problem that we lost a lot of airplanes and we have not more many pilots left, and I have to check all the squadrons and make sure where they are, what skill level they have, and all this. A lot of work. Okay, let's check the ships. And ships, I would say, is now the biggest handicap. Pilots and airplanes you can still train, but Japanese cannot replace anything. So let's just first check the ally losses. This is heavily fog of war, so I don't know if it's true, but let's see. What we can see already here is, the fog of war only works, I think, in one direction. No, it can work in both directions, yes. So it can be that we sunk more, but we don't know it. But we also maybe think that we sunk something, but it's not true. So, but let's say if we say now this is all true, then we have here one killed battleship. Only one. That is not much. Both British battleships, battle cruisers are not here. From the American Pearl Harbor attack, also up to 4 you can sink. Looks only one. One heavy cruiser. Or let's take out only makes this military stuff, what is important normally for me. This is normally the military stuff. Okay, let us say this is also military stuff. So this is what we sunk from the American or Allied Navy. One battleship, one heavy cruiser, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light cruisers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 destroyers. Yeah, this is more or less nothing. In this 3-4 months, the Allies get triple the amount of military equipment already back. I think the British get 2-3 battleships, the Americans get 2-3 battleships. Destroyers even more, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, they get every month 2-3 of them. So this is simply far too less military equipment destroyed. But okay. Then we take this out and we see what is from the not military. Troop transport, cargo ships, oiler, tanker, and maybe auxiliary ships. We can see we sink some tankers, some support ships. Okay, so this is the good stuff. So up to 15, I would say, is the really good stuff. We can see more transport ships, some good cargo ships, some submarine support ships. Okay, okay. So the cargo, the civilian amount of ships sunk, I would say, is okay. This looks for me normal. That is not the issue. Cargo shipping was good destroyed. Submarines also, many are destroyed. This looks also good. Mine layers, also a lot of mine layers. I mean, I also sunk a lot of the shitty mine layers. But I don't know if they are really important. I think they are really like these small cargo ships. The patrol ships, yeah, these are the cheap stuff. Probably no impact. Important is always this corvettes. This is good to kill the corvette stuff. And here is nothing wrong. Okay, so I would say the main issue with the ally shipping sunk is not the civilian part. It is really only purely the American military equipment. The allies lost nearly nothing, I would say. Old battleship is, I mean, this Oklahoma is the most shitty battleship from all of them. They're 14-inch. This is the weakest battleship from all the American battleships. And light cruisers are okay, but you can see New Zealand, Dutch. So the Dutch light cruisers are normally not so good. The British Dragon is also not so, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So we will, well, I must more or less believe or say the Americans have everything still. So they will outnumber us already now clearly 1-2 maybe. They've doubled the number of battleships, double or triple the number of cruisers. Okay, but okay. This is the Allied situation. Now we can check the Japanese situation. So we can also check what Japanese lost so far on military equipment. As we take out. So the Japanese lost also a battleship, so equal 1-1. The Japanese lost 3 light cruisers. Sendai, Katori class, Tenyo class. This is a little pity because this light cruiser you can later change to a anti-aircraft light cruiser to protect your carriers best. But they are normally also not very strong. Normally this is with one of the best light cruisers the Japanese have. But okay. The problem is now they don't really replacements. What we lost is lost. So we lost the battleship. I mean, not that the battleship is super important, and this is a Congo, though it's a battle cruiser, so it's a fast battleship, but the armor is very weak, similar to the British battle cruisers. The biggest issue is maybe the losses of destroyers. So many destroyers lost. I mean, these are the shitty destroyers. I mean, 1,500 tons. You can get them good, you can make out of these ships very good escort ships, but there will never be good destroyers. The 8-point destroyers are okay. These are the standard Fubuki class destroyers. They are the main battle line destroyers for the Japanese. Okay, so the loss of the battleship hurts the points, but maybe it's not really so important. For me, so far, I see normally the losses of destroyers are always a handicap for the Japanese, because they really don't have enough destroyers. And if you don't have enough destroyers, you can normally not operate your heavy units there with maximum efficiency. Okay, but no carrier lost, and no catastrophic. I would say, yeah, it's 1-to-1 battle with the American. What we lost, what they lost, so it's not a disaster, but the problem is the good time is now over, and we will run in very big problems very soon. Okay, check what we lost for cargo stuff, maybe auxiliaries. So you can see here is a lot of these AMCs. AMCs in general, the original idea of this heavy armed cargo ships to support the Navy, this concept is simply outclassed at this time period already. It doesn't matter how many guns you place on this kind of cargo ships, it is still a cargo ship. Means if you are unlucky and you get a hit in the waterline and your ship is floating, or get floating damage, and the ship often gets is lost, and or if it starts burning, is also often lost. And even it is really, even a battle with an enemy cargo ship, 2-3 hits on your ship, you can always sink the enemy cargo ships, but no, it's if you play the Japanese, these AMCs must stay. I would say you can use them for invasion operations, but you must always have heavy cruisers or battleships with them. They cannot be the first line of defense or battle line. And if it's possible and you convert them to real purely cargo ships, and some of them you can convert to heavy cargo ships, then I would do this. It's better to have them operating for a real cargo ship and stay out of the front line. At the beginning you can use them because they can transport a lot of troops, but simply really make sure don't risk too much with these ships. Yeah, and to lose some transport ships, I also had this, it's a question how many you lose, but I think the transport ships can happen always. If you're unlucky, coastal gun hit you and then whoa, lost. The amount of cargo ships, of good cargo ships, of course, is crazy. I mean, true transport ships, they are in line of fire because of an invasion fleet. Invasion, this can always happen. Heavy cargo ships, I would say, why so many heavy cargo ships lost? Crazy. And also here, the whole numbers of cargo ships for the Japanese is so high already, but normally you must maybe check how they sink. I see a lot of coastal guns. But yeah, anyway, so that is why the ships' sunks and kills are very similar. Okay, loss of submarines. Normally this SSX, these are the small mini submarines, they are useless, so you don't care. I lost them, you will always lose them, throw them on Pearl Harbor and then doesn't matter. Don't buy them more, don't build them more, don't care them more. So we lost in real one good submarine, 2 normal submarines, and 2 a little shorter range submarines. And this can always be, I would simply say, submarines never go shallow water. I mean, at least not with Japanese submarines. The Allies, they can normally afford it because they produce simply so many submarines, and if they lose every week one submarine, they still can produce more. The Japanese, they produce maybe one submarine every 2 or 3 weeks. So keep this in mind. Don't risk it with shallow water. Even if it's a tempt you because you think there's a lot of stuff, I mean, if you can make sure that there's a lot of stuff and nothing else and only cargo, then of course go for it. But I would say don't go for shallow water. It simply will increase your chance to survive. I mean, here we can see this is a bomb. So this is a air attack. This has nothing to do with shallow water. That is an unlucky hit. And here again. But sunk by means also the last hit. So it can be that this submarine already suffer from, in shallow water, from a submarine hunter ship group, and then try to escape, and then the airplane attacks the submarine and sink it. So anyway, good. These are the submarines, and I think mines are not important. Yeah, DMS. If you sink by a mine, this is your job. I would not normally use them for anything else. You can use them for clean minefields or anti-submarine task forces, but nothing else. They are simply too slow for any really engagement with other surface fleets. They are too. They cannot avoid anything. They are too slow. If they are enemy destroyers, they will land hits very quickly on this kind of support destroyers. These are 800 tons support destroyers. They are not really fighting units. They are support units. They have nothing to do with to support a task force in open field battle. This is not their job. They only want clean minefields, so means you can add 2 of them always to Amphibious Assault units. You can use them for submarine hunter groups, and as soon as possible I would always convert these ships to real escort ships. If you convert these ships, you can convert them all to escort ships, then they get really good, they get radar, they get very good anti-submarine equipment. Don't waste them for any rush operations. They will never really support you. Look at this. What they can do. 12 centimeter gun have no firepower. They have no torpedo capacity. They're simply slow. So don't try this. Only for my opinion of this stuff. And the patrol ships, I talked already with this about in my dojo videos. At the beginning of the war, you must check and try to find all these patrol ships with the hit points or with the value points of 10. This kind of ships. You find them, you bring them to a port, and you convert them immediately to cargo ships. These are cargo ships, and they are not patrol ships. You can check, this is a 10-point patrol ship, and this is a 1-point patrol ship. Patrol ships really, their main purpose is only control the sea, not defend the sea. They only make sure that there is nothing, or if there is something, you get feedback. The anti-submarine equipment is always shitty and only works in shallow water, but even in shallow water it is really only to scare the submarine, it's not really to kill the submarine. And anything else is the same. And you better really you try to convert all your shitty cargo ships with 1 point or 3 points, because this is similar. And the 1 point and the 3 point cargo ships, try to convert them to patrol ships or other support units like mine tender, local mine sweeper, and all this stuff. But more important is try to convert all your 10-point value patrol ships back to cargo ships. That is a must. They are good cargo ships, but they are shitty patrol ships, and the value is far too high to use them for patrol. Okay. This is now the history of the war in this match so far. Okay. Maybe we can check a little around, but I think I need more time to really fully understand the situation. And yeah, but we can first check the situation. So we control Japan. Okay. Yeah, we must also check this again. So this is now all of this. Now two more things. We can check the victory value is 15 to 9. 15 is okay, 9 is normally far too high. So this is related to the losses here. The Allies have simply lost nearly no navy, and they don't lost too much. Yeah, I mean the navy losses and the air losses. Oh, yeah, but maybe it's also April. The problem is the ally player get a lot of ships and units, and these units have value. So the ally player get again always new units. So his value points, his ally score points go always up, simply because he get more units, and the units have value, and this game will always push this number up. And that is also the reason why, if you normally don't finish in 43, the auto victory, how you want to win this game, because in latest end of 43, the allies will produce so much stuff, and the allies player will get so many points only simply by getting additional equipment that how you want to ever win this. Okay. Then we have this Manchukuo garrison question. I don't know why, and so far I know there was no rule. The rule of the game is you must have 8,000 attack value in Manchukuo. And if you don't have this, there's a chance that the Soviets will enter the war. That is the game. Means you must keep your 8,000 at least, also better 8,001, to make sure the Soviets will not attack. But it also means every unit over 8,000 is here a lost unit, because why you won't keep them here? The Soviets will not attack. If you keep them here, they will not fight any war for you. So why you won't keep them? So the first thing is I must check Manchukuo and normally organize this again. This is waste. Okay, this is a Manchukuo, and then you can see that here's a lot of stuff, and here's, you can also see there's air forces, but maybe he used them for training. Training. But I don't know why I would let fighters train for airfield. So I touched up to now nothing. So this is really, I only check this. I don't know. You can train this, and this will give you strafing points. But why I would do this? Airplane. I mean, you can of course train this, and you want special skills, but I would say make no sense. This is really the last thing I would train a fighter pilot. A fighter pilot have for me two main tasks. You defend your own space. You support bomber fleets and make escort. This is the escort mission, and then the other big task is normally sweep. This is the offensive strike. You send your fighters out and try to engage enemy fighters and whittle them down and control the airspace. This is really the most important stuff. Okay, so I will set up this and check this, and I don't know. I can ask again THG, but so far I know there's no rule why the unit must keep here, and okay. This I will check later all again, and why they are here, and if it makes sense, and because yeah, this is all this flag stuff and a lot of Chinese stuff, and anyway. So Manchukuo I must organize and bring something back. Then we have here North China. And we can see North China, it looks simply, nothing happened. This is the situation from the beginning of the war. Here some units drive here down. I know that here we had a battle on Xi'an. So this was normally the last of the from Rainbow Dash. He more or less lost the Battle of Xi'an, and THG kicked him out, and the units are now here, and they are heavily damaged, and you can see experience morale is low, disruption is high, and yeah, make no sense. You can also see that the units are prepared for Xi'an, but they are a mix of bunch of units. They are not really belonging to each other. We have here this North China area. Here's a NCPC army. An NCPC army is a real police force army and nothing more. This guy, you can see, first, this guy have nothing to do with his units. Second, this is a police guy. His main job is to stay in a big city and support units to heal. He's not a frontline commander. So this is totally mess. Then we have here a big bunch of tanks running here. But again, I mean, I don't know, I don't have the experience with this, but normally armor itself will not win the war. Armor need always infantry. And Erwin Rommel in Africa always asked the German headquarters for more infantry support. The Africa Corps and always suffer not on tanks so much, they suffer normally primarily on infantry support and airplanes. And of course this is a game and there are other rules, but I don't know if I'm really so happy with this purely tank units. Simply I would say you must organize your armies based on the HQ. The HQ will dictate the organization of your army. If the HQ says this unit belongs to you, then yeah, it belongs to you. But I would not normally cross over something too much. We have here the HQ coming from the Mongolian army. From all the HQs, this is the most weakest strike force, of course. Because this is simply something... This guy have land attack, but he is something like... He's a Mongolian Chinese guy. He worked for the Japanese, but he's not a real Japanese commander. He commands some Mongolian forces. So let me check. If we have also Mongolian forces here. 34th Division. They are part of the 11th Army. So anyway, I have to organize here a lot of stuff and check where's the units and why they are here. If you check on the HQ, you check the ground units, then you will tell where's everything. And then you can see it is somewhere. It's in Shanghai. It is in this hex. It is in Beijing. It is here. Everywhere is everything, but not where it belongs normally. Okay. But this is also my playstyle. Of course, you can always play this game in any different way you want. So I don't say it's totally wrong. It is only from my point of view not efficient. Okay, but this is the situation. So the situation is that we don't have Yan'an, we don't have Xi'an, so we don't threaten the whole Mongolia, northern Chinese industry and the resource area. Because normally if you have Xi'an, here is light industry, here is refinery, we normally must take Xi'an simply to cripple the Chinese and also threaten this road to Chengdu. And you must, if you can take these two additional cities here nearby, this is a heavy industry in this northern part. And then there's a little more here in Urumqi. This is the center Mongolian. So normally you need this for this Japanese war industry. Or at least you need it to cripple the Chinese war industry. Okay, so the North Chinese threat of war is a stalemate. Okay, the center looks good. Looks like that the Japanese break all resistance, and we took the 3 or 4 big cities here, and maybe we can threaten for more. But we have here 180,000 guys, so there's a big defense force. So this city will hard to take. It's a question also if you need the city because there's no industry. And for me the focus is I take first what have industry value. A, to support the Japanese industry, and B, to cripple the Chinese industry. Because the Chinese biggest problem are the lack of supplies. So if you take Chinese industry unit, cities, locations, you always hurt the whole Chinese army in the long run. Okay, so here is maybe now a defense force, and I would say, okay, then I would not go here for this, and simply don't care. I must only care that I can keep my cities. And here is also a strong force, so we maybe must here push in the source and go the long way. Because if we take the long way, this situation, you cannot hold this city more. This city make only sense if you can hold also this city. Maybe to make this short, first steps is take these 3 cities. They have some industry. Take Nanning. There's normally these days there's a Coca-Cola factory. If you want to drink Coca-Cola, to go to Nanning. Take these 3 bases, and then you have first a supply line. You can run here completely from Korea, Manchukuo to Vietnam. And then you have already a good supply situation, and then you can normally say, okay, maybe is enough, take this, and then focus for this area, and normally take my Mongolia, and then keep the Chinese, this what they have, and keep it. I don't need it. And then you can maybe focus your units maybe for something else. Okay. Because what is really a problem is, of course, we are now already in mid of April, and Rangoon is still nothing left. Nothing happened here. So the situation in Rangoon is not good. Take this city have normally no meaning. You must take this city to stop their support and supplies to China. So you can wait. I also wait with the attack on Rangoon, but somewhere you must go and take it. You can see that here is something coming, but I would also say these are 2 divisions without a HQ. 14th and Southern Army. Oh, where's the HQ for this? You have here air base, the same what I did, but where's the air HQ? Why here's no air HQ? Then overstack is of course also not good. We are built up, okay, it's fine. I would say yeah, okay. This is okay, but normally I need an air HQ here. Maybe it is nearby, I don't know where it is, I must find it first. Here are 2 air HQs, but why 2? I don't know. Yeah, organization. We have here a big army, but only 800, so this is nothing enough. You need 1,500, 2,000 to really attack here. Also, maybe they are coming first. So there's artillery coming, and more artillery coming, and there's a HQ coming, 15th Army. So maybe this is the old 15th Army. No, this is a Thai guys. Thai army units are similar to Chinese units. They are police force. They are normally primarily to garrison a unit or a city. If there's a garrison request, and you have many garrison requests, you can bring this Thai unit also to China to free up Chinese units, but they are not for fighting. So I must organize also something here. Okay. I must simply check where is everything, because so far I really don't know where is everything. So Singapore is ours. This turn we also take Port Blair. This is also okay, because Port Blair you can simply scout here and make sure if you Port Blair and you have your torpedo bomber and normally something, then it's okay. But we can also see that here's a task force, and if I remember right, these are carriers, because they sunk something just here nearby. And you can see here's still some crippling trying to escape, run in a mine. And this is also a 10-point ship. Oh, this will be lost because it's a fire. No chance to save it. Okay. Sumatra. Still some bases are not under control, but okay. Let me check something. Where's the situation? The shipyard is okay. This is okay. Sig is okay. This is okay. Okay. Palmbang. Repair is off. Range. Oil is on. Okay. Good, we must repair a little here. So Sumatra is more or less okay. Must clean up a little. Java is also nearly over and under control. Resources, the oil is running. The heavy industry is not much. Refinery is okay. This is all okay. And here's some forces. Some forces are also here. You mean, so we must only finish now Batavia as soon as possible and get rid of these units, but they have 65,000. So, and we have only 20,000. This is not enough. We need at least, the simple calculation is, you can see the numbers of the enemy, then you take half of them, they attack their real fighting units. So let's say there are 35,000 enemy soldiers. You must have at least the same number, but normally the double the number. If you have double the number of the enemy forces, or you can say the number you can see here, you also must have attack units. But we have only 20,000. If you have the same number of attack of soldiers than the enemy total numbers, then for sure you will have a victory, I would say. You cannot always organize this, but at least you must have the same soldiers than half of the number, or you cannot attack. This is a base rule. Of course, if the enemy have no supplies, blah blah blah, then maybe every rule you can change, but okay. So anything else is we have here the Balikpapan is ours, but it's damaged and not repaired. But the oil is under repair, but also still damaged. Tarakan is damaged and not repaired completely. Miri is still heavily damaged and not really repaired. Okay. So we control all of the Indochina area. We also control all of the Solomon Sea, included Port Moresby. But no supplies. But at least we control this all. And we also control the whole Santa Cruz Islands and New Caledonia. So the position, the strategic positions are okay, even good, I would say. For April to take all of these bases is good. The only question is to hold the base and to maintain a base are still different questions. You have all these bases, but what is the purpose and what is the benefit for you? You must have something here to use them. You need torpedo bombers, you need scout planes, you need army units, you need a lot of supplies, you need backup forces, you need HQs to support each other, you need navy units nearby, carrier fleets and all this stuff. So I have to organize and to check all of this, because only control New Caledonian, but I have here nothing, no defense force, no mobile forces, no air force, no scout, nothing else. But then THG can come anytime you want and attack me. and I can do nothing. Here he took also this base, but I don't know. This is a. You can of course take these 2 bases and try to take Fiji. I mean, normally to cripple the whole stuff, if you take now also Fiji on these islands and the Asian group, then it will be really good, because this will really cripple the ally effort. But still, it's you go more far away from Japan. The Japanese are burning the supplies so easy. You are not the allies. You cannot maintenance everything. So I hope. I hope. Yeah. Because I see already one big issue. Is the supply situation. We have here some 50,000 supplies in Truk. I normally don't need them more in Truk. I need them more in Rabul. Here is only 10,000. 10,000 is nearly nothing. Normally a main base needs at least 50,000 or more. 10,000. Low on supplies. So these bases are all at the totally limit of. They need thousands of tons of supplies here. And it is April. In 1st of March you get radar. And I don't see here radar. Every airbase where you have fighters need radar. I don't see radar. Yeah. Okay. Also, so I also would say Air HQ need fighters for. You need fighters. If you have an Air HQ, you have the fighters. You need scout planes. You need bombers, always together. And you need radar. And they support each other. You'd better focus for one or for air forces together and keep them and support and help them each other. I would say this makes more sense, because you have now a base with only bombers, a base only with fighters. The fighters will not help the bombers, and so each other. So, but this is all my game style. Anyway, okay, this is the situation. I think this is the first really enough. I need 1 or 2 days maybe to first I must catch everything, and then I must make a plan. We have no invasion of America. We have no invasion of New Zealand, and we have a lot of submarines everywhere, and yes, also a little. The main important is normally finish this Batavia as soon as possible. This must be done. Also clean up here the last bases. Make sure that the supplies running. Make sure that the oil and refineries are running. Organize the army stuff. Organize this Chinese army. Will need a lot of time. Organize a new Burma army. I need a Burma army. I need to take Burma now as soon as possible. I don't know if I can take it to the end of the month, but latest end of May I must finish Burma. That is a must, because you must get this Burma road closed, that the Chinese dry out of supplies. If you cannot close this road, the Chinese will never dry out of supplies, and then you will really get problems, because the Chinese, they can create so many manpowers, they will outclass you someday. You also must take this industry in normally Mongolia to cripple the Chinese industry more. Okay, and the last issue. The last issue is still the Philippines are not finished, and there are still 100,000 ally units here. Crazy. And we have only 2 divisions. 14th, 15th army all mixed up, and no command nearby. Garrison is not fully done. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, you see the situation, and I will find out if I will take over now this, because I asked THG if we find someone else, because I don't push for this, but I agree to take it over. I know it's no easy task. I don't think that is possible more to win, but I will try my best. And at least it doesn't matter if you win or lose, you won't have some fun and learn something. And I hope you also learn something, and maybe we will see us again soon with some victory messages out from Tokyo Rose, and sinking some American carriers and battleships. Thank you all, see you again, take care, bye bye.